With the commish, Nate.
And just like that, welcome to Press Pass Live, your weekly OMFL podcast show. I'm checking everything, make sure everything looks good. I think we are good to go. We're trying all kinds of new stuff. We're going to jump into it. It's going to be a short show. And then remember, I've got two really good talkers on this show. And so it's probably not going to be a short show, but we're going to see exactly how we get there. Let me welcome in a couple of my buddies here that are here with me. Let me make sure I hit the right button. Is it... You know what? I don't have the right button set up. I'm going to have to set up the right button. Let's get over here. I'll just click the right button manually. Let me welcome in the commissioner of the Deuce, Mr. Maniac, and your OMFL two-time current champion, reigning, defending universal champion of the OMFL, Mr. Trey. How you doing today, bud?
I'm doing pretty good. Sat back, relaxed after a stressful playoff run. Waiting for this draft to happen.
Mr. Maniac, good day on the Maniac farm.
Yeah, it's been a good day here at the little hot farm here and it is actually hot here in Texas. It's like 95 degrees right now.
Sucks.
Insane.
Yeah, it is not a fun time already down here in the South. Mr. Maniac, if you can get me like a little squish to the left, your left. Yeah, there we go. Now we got you. A little too much squishing. Go back a little bit to the right. There we go. Perfect. All right. Like half your face was cut off. I was like, oh my goodness, we got to get him back over here. All right, fellas, we are going to talk a little off-season recap. It always happens fast, man. I told you, as soon as we find and give a crown to a champion, we're off and running to the next thing. So let's talk about the next thing already and talk about free agency recap. I'm going to go ahead and pull it up here on the screen. Well, I guess some of you can see this. If you're watching vertical, you're not going to see all of this, but it's okay. Let's talk about a couple of these guys, a couple of the guys that we think were OMFL winners. I'm just going to open it up. What do we think here? Off-season free agency, there were some big spenders and a couple of non-readers. We've got non-readers here in the OMFL.
We always seem to have those, unfortunately, but I think you look at one, I think, you have to talk about Roger. Roger always seems to have really good off seasons every time. He got the quarterback that he wanted. which was your former quarterback, Blase, which I don't know if he's going to call him Blaze now since he's got him, but he's done pretty good with what he's in the off season as well. And he, like I said, he always does in the draft. One team I would like to also point out, I think, unfortunately, is in our division as well. The Panthers. I think he got better.
Yeah.
He got a lot of impact players, I think. And he lost a couple, but man, he retooled and revamped, and he's going to be ready to roll, I think, this next season. And there's guys that I think did well, but those two kind of stuck out to me.
Yeah, I really like what the Panthers did. I mean, he got a cornerback that I was after. I think he just replenished. He's got such a young team, and I just think overall there were not a ton of massive spenders, and some guys you could see had to make some tough calls and let people walk, and they got paid in free agency. But then we've seen teams like San Francisco, right? He goes out, moves McCaffrey, gets Pacheco, makes him better than McCaffrey. He's younger. He goes out and gives him a big old contract. So you've seen a couple of big spenders, but you also see some guys that had to let people walk. Speaking of McCaffrey, 49ers, Kansas City, Buffalo, now he's over in Pittsburgh. I mean, this guy's moving all over the place. Trey, what did you think about free agency?
It was very interesting to see where the talent went, especially a big what happened for me was the implosion that was Green Bay and letting practically everybody walk and seeing top guys like Christian Watson head over to Seattle, I believe it was, and Eric Stokes head over into guys' division with the Panthers. Those are two of the premier talent from the Packers that I was wondering to see where they went. And obviously you had the likes of McCaffrey, and you had Kevin Byard head over to the Condors. You had David Njoku head to Miami. You had Jordan Mailata leave Philadelphia and go to Kansas City, which is kind of ironic in a way. And then you had Dallas Goedert head to Texas, which everybody wanted him to do when he got drafted, but now he's going there to go to relief form San Antonio. Yeah,
which
really
was the Cleveland
off-season.
Browns. For those who didn't realize, the Cleveland Browns did move over to San Antonio. I'm not gonna lie, fellas. I've been itching just a little bit to move my Saints. Not that I don't love my Saints. I can't imagine them anywhere else. But some of these logos and colors are kind of cool. And it's been such a disaster these last 3 seasons. Like I should mix this up a little bit. Trey, who's the one guy that you were sort of shocked to see get paid by whatever team took him?
I'm surprised Kelsey got paid still at that age. Yeah, but that's Priest going out there and making a spend on something that I don't really think was a big spend.
Listen, fellas, we've now talked about it twice. I don't know if I have a winner of the free agency, but I sure do have a loser. I don't know what our buddy is doing over there. It's making zero sense to me. I just don't understand what he's trying to build, what he's doing with the team. Last checked, he had 35 players. Maybe I think he's up to 40 now after free agency. He's got no money. Maybe. He went out and signed Pacheco, who he wasn't supposed to sign. I ended up having to we couldn't make him cut him and take the cap hit because the game wouldn't even allow it. The game's like, no, you can't do that. You screwed up when EA's broken game goes, wait a second, you can't do that. I don't even know where to start. I love Priest. I love him as a human. I like his energy, but man, the OMFL is way down on his list of leagues to pay attention to right now. It feels like he isn't trying to win. He isn't even trying to put a competitive team together. I have zero clue what he is doing right now.
Almost feel like he's like playing offline franchise, just where he can cut everybody and sign everybody with no salary cap. That's kind of what it gives the feeling like. But Priest, he's a great guy. He's really cool. I mean, he's really down to earth, I guess you could say. But man, Priest, come on, you gotta wake up, man. Stop smelling the roses. You gotta get
Smell
back
something.
in this thing.
Smell something before ends up smelling a boot, because I just like it's. Listen, we've seen some bad off seasons here. we've had some guys who have been pretty unplugged. We know the names. They just popped into your head when I said that. This has got to be right up there with some of the worst off seasons I've ever seen. I have no clue what he's doing. And it's I don't know. Now I'm harping on it, but he knows how to win. He's put a winner on the field. He has had the quarterback, had the running back, had the receivers. We know he can put up offensive numbers. We've seen him play more disciplined football where he's not turning the ball over all the time. We've seen him do this, and yet here we are. Don't know what he's doing right now. Give me your winner.
Yeah,
who's our winner of the offseason then?
It's so tough because there wasn't really anybody to go out and make a big statement. There wasn't that many, consistently big names going to consistent teams. The two teams that I would suggest that, are going to improve from their offseason, from the record last season, I'd say would be the Titans and the Vikings.
Yeah, I mean the Vikings obviously they got a new owner and he's made some decent trades. By the way, somebody forgot to tell him you're not supposed to trade with the dark side over here, but but I think you can already kind of tell things are taking a different turn with the Vikings. I think Trey, you're going to have some competition with Fleury because obviously we played with him in the Deuce and. He's a really good owner. He knows how to build teams, and so he's going to be pushing that. I think, again, for the overall winner, I've got to look at the Panthers. They've made some good trades with all the free agency that he got as well, and then he's retooled and he's got quite a few trade pieces. I mean, draft pieces now. So so he's not only getting better, but he's also getting younger, and he's got quite a few pieces, I think, in the top 100 picks. So unless he just traded some more away that I have not looked at, but man, he's done well. And I think the other one that you would have to look at, the Condors, I think, have also done pretty well. I know he's trying to retool after missing the OMFL Bowl. I think he got that taste and he wants to get back there. And he's made some changes, made some moves, and it'll be interesting to see. And I want to give Trey some props too. Obviously he just won the bowl game. His team, he didn't really lose anybody. And then he goes out and he picks up my guy that I had to cut. And I had to make the hard decision. So now he's got stronger at the defensive tackle, with his signing, and man, he's going to be right there in the thick of things as well again this next season.
Yeah, I would echo those thoughts. I'd say the Panthers, of course, I think had a really great free agency. The Cardinals, I think, went out and got some pieces that are going to really help him continue the next step, even though there's probably something else we'll talk about that may, cause a bit of a challenge. And I also think the Mounties, big spender. The Broncos, big spender, right? And so you can see these teams trying to add to it. And then the last one, I think Trey mentioned it, was the Titans. I think these teams took steps forward. Plus, you're talking about a lot of owners that took over their teams halfway towards the end of the season last season. And so they just weren't built for them. And now they have an opportunity to actually build their team. Trey, final thoughts on the free agency?
It was eventful, that was for sure. You gotta see a few teams make some moves, try trades, and open up cap space, go make some signings, and then you had some teams that opened up cap space and did nothing with it. I'll see how it works in the off season, or in the regular season, because we still got some big names out there.
Yep, we weren't going to talk about trades, but I want to go back to you, Maniac, but we can also quickly touch on trades. There were some big movers. My team was pretty active out there, but we've seen a lot of draft picks. It seems to be a draft that feels deep, and so you see some of the higher end teams willing to let picks go, players go to kind of gather more pick assets, and then you see some teams that they're one player away, two players away. They're willing to give up assets to get towards the top of this draft.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. I think you're seeing guys at the point a stage in the cycle where they're going like either all in. If their team is in that spot where they feel like they're only a couple pieces away, they're giving away those assets. They're going after the one or two guys that they feel like is going to get their team over the hump. Other guys are kind of like you see the guys kind of clearing out their roster. They've already kind of got to that point in the cycle where they had a couple of seasons where they were really competitive, but either through the real life salary cap that's causing problems, you're starting to see that kind of that dump off, and then going heavy for the draft this season, possibly looking to build their roster up for possibly that last run in that final season.
Well, let's talk draft now. It is going to start here in just a little bit. We're a little under an hour before we'll get started. And Tim's already let me know that he's sort of ready to go, but honestly, I've yet to even spend time thinking about what I'm going to do. And since I'm number 2, I'm probably going to need a little extra time. But here's what the mock draft says right now. You got Mounties, Saints, Packers up to 3, Rams at 4, Broncos at 5. Now, I don't, of course, believe this at all, but I do find some of this pretty funny. We just give our kind of top 5, top 10. I'll go ahead and go through the rest of what Madden thinks is going to happen. So, Raymond at number 1, Ethan Hunt at number 2, Melvin Riddick at number 3. I know that probably would be a good pick for Priest. He likes his speedy wide receivers. Otting at number 4, Green at number 5. Very top heavy in the cornerback situation. I think we're going to see cornerbacks flying off the board in the first round. Trey Morton is going to go to Tampa Bay, according to Madden. And then your first fullback off the board. He would be the only fullback to be drafted top 10 ever in the OMFL. I think this is hilarious. I would love to find out why Madden thinks that. He's going to go over to the Commanders. Stoogie Sparks, what a great all-time Madden name. He's going to go to the Tennessee Titans. Mark Anthony to the Texans at 9, even though that they just paid a quarterback millions of dollars. Marion Murphy, cornerback, going to Buffalo, and that's all I'm going to cover is the top 10. Each of us are going to get our sort of top 10. Who wants to get this thing started?
Mr. Manny?
Sure, man. I'll go ahead and go. So obviously Roger's running the mock draft thing for the community and stuff. So I'm just going to kind of go off what I've put down on that. Looking at there, and like you said, the talent is really heavy in the cornerback area. I think you're going to see maybe a couple of other spots also. I think quarterback is also a good spot. They've got a lot of guys I think that could help teams or possibly be an import there if they're young enough to build up the last couple seasons here and move them on over to the next Madden when we get to that point. But I'm really looking at the Mounties. I think looking at everybody else's mock draft, I think they're all suggesting he's going to take a cornerback, and I'm pretty sure that's probably where he's going. I've got down John Green, the cornerback there from USC, 6'2", 182 pounds, man. The guy is just a beast. And I think he's going to be probably somebody that's obviously probably going to be a hidden dev. May not be. Sometimes they'll surprise you with those top 5s in Madden. They won't be but normal dev, but they'll be really highly rated. I'm trying to lose my voice already. The Saints quarterback, you've kind of made it known you're going after the quarterback and stuff. I've got you down for Mark Anthony. I think he brings a lot. I know that guy Ethan Hunt going after Mission Impossible names. I think he's going to be good as well. But I think I'm looking at you. I just see Mark Anthony being the fit for you. The Packers going wide receiver. I think he's only got 2 on the roster right now, so that's just kind of like he's got to go wide receiver. So I've got down Melvin Riddick, and there's a couple guys that could go either that spot there. I've got the Rams taking a quarterback. I know they've got 3 on their roster right now, but nobody really gives me anything to be scared of there. I think that's where you're going to see Ethan Hunt take off too. He'll be over there with the Rams. Broncos, I feel like they're looking for cornerback help as well. Steve Raymond. Just looking at, he's actually listed first on the mock draft there, but he's 6'1", 194. Got a lot of good qualities there and stuff, so I think that's going to be a good fit for the Broncos. The Buccaneers, I looked at his roster, man, I was thinking, man, he's so loaded on his roster still. He's got, every player in every position is just covered, so I feel like he's just going to take best overall at that point. But I went with that, the outside linebacker, Steve Otting, 6'3", 241 pounds. I think if there's any one spot on his team that he could possibly improve, would be his linebackers. So look for that spot there. The Titans, no, I'm skipping Commanders. They're at 7. Linebacker, I think they're going to go with the Commanders. I think they're going linebacker as well. I've got down that Tyler Cobbler. Man, some great names. I don't know if Roger names these guys or just
I think he names some
in
of
a little
them,
bit.
yeah.
Puts a little bit in, but it's kind of fun. But I see the Commanders taking that linebacker. Titans at 8. Defensive tackle, I think, is going to be in their spot. Damian Bright. They could go quarterback as well. I know he just got the right-handed hooker or the left-handed hooker. I don't know
yeah.
from the Lions, but
The right-handed hooker. God
the right-handed hooker.
He is the hooker.
The original hooker. There you go. So, but he could possibly go quarterback as well. But I think he's got that set up personally. The thing just switched on me, so I was fixing to start naming off Tim's thing here. Texans roster also looks really good. If you look at him on paper and stuff, he's got a lot of assets and he's built the roster really good. But I think he can improve on the defensive line, so I look for him to take Ben White. And that may not be the case. Roger does have an affinity with wide receivers, speed wide receivers, so he could just say, hey, this guy's not going to be there later, so I'm going to take him first. But Ben White, USF, 6'1", 259, he's a speed guy. Could possibly, if he's running 3-4, could possibly kick him outside linebacker. That'd be that rush linebacker, but man, he's got some good stats, so I wouldn't be surprised on that. And then last but not least, the Bills. I think they're a little short on wide receivers as well. Just looking at the roster, so I've got them taking a wide receiver, Taven Lambert.
Mr. Trey, what do you think about the top 10, man? This is kind of a new thing that Raj has done, so it's kind of fun that we can all produce our mock drafts, and I definitely treated it like the 65-year-old woman who's never watched the NCAA basketball tournament and just picked names that she liked. That's definitely how I did mine, but tell us what you got.
I went in and I looked at aspects of each team and I kind of picked apart what their division looks like, what a key part of their division is, and then what the needs were. So I went, everybody seems to go Stephen Raymond for the number one cornerback. I don't think he is. I think he might be the better off talent at the start, but I think Green's going to have the longevity. So I have John Green going number the Mounties. I looked at the first quarterback and saw it was left-handed and immediately went, nope, that's not going to New Orleans. So I have you taking Mark Anthony. I have Steve Raymond falling at 3 to the Packers because I'm pretty much assuming that my division's going to try and stop my pass game. And we'll just go from there. But it was also Priest has literally a need for everything because Maniac mentioned he's only got 2 wide receivers. He's literally only got Jair Alexander. That's it. So it's here, throw up a bunch of clay shoots and let's see what shotgun shell hits. Same thing was with the Rams. It was let's throw some clay and let's see what shotgun shell. I have them taking Marion Murphy, cornerback from Connecticut. At number 5, I have the Broncos going and getting themselves edge rusher Tyler Colbert from Missouri. At 6, I have the Buccaneers going and giving themselves Melvin Riddick, wide receiver from TCU. I feel like he's going to want to complete that trifecta with Godwin. I can't remember the other guy's name offhand.
Palmer.
And then Palmer.
Trey
and
never forgets a name.
Riddick.
I feel good that I knew a name he didn't.
I got so much on my mind. I had a weird offseason. So I have Bill.
I was going to say, you got a parade hangover, right?
Yeah, let me play the world's smallest violin for the guy who just blew out for his second championship. Golly, get out of here.
I've been busy with real stuff, okay? God darn it. I have the Commanders going and grabbing themselves LeRon Brown, cornerback from Arizona State. I think he's going to have, if he wants to compete for that division, he's got to find a way to get CeeDee Lamb locked down. I feel like this guy has the potential to do it. I have Damian Bright, defensive tackle from UCF, going to the Titans. I'm changing the scheme up from a 3-4 to a 4-3. It needs that one more defensive tackle. This guy's got the potential to help impact that defensive line. With pick number 9, I have the Texans going in a shock here because I don't think anybody would see this. Going and getting Trey Morton, halfback from Michigan State. I feel like he's got all the passing pieces. If he can find a dominant running back, Rodgers got a offense that you're going to be struggling to figure out how to stop, kind of like mine. And then finally, with number 10, I have the Bills taking edge rusher Ben White from UCF. I think he wants to. He's in a division where he's got Kobe. He's got Moss. Those guys are both known to have pretty good passing games, so you're going to want to put them under pressure. That's a guy that's going to be out there early on that you can go get to help impact that pass rush.
I, too, didn't have a lot of time to do what Trey did, even though I wanted to kind of dig down into each team. So I just sort of went off the way I know that guys like to draft, again, not knowing the specifics of their team. Even today, like as Maniac points out that he had the Packers had 2 wide receivers. I was like, oh, I think I'm going to switch mine up. And then Trey said, well, he's only got 1 cornerback. And I was like, well, I'm putting it back then. So here's mine. I think Steve Raymond's going to go. I think it's so hard when you're the number 1 pick to pass up a guy that has a top 5 rating. I'm pretty sure I'm right about this. The only player with a top 5 rating. It's like you got to go for the sure thing. I think he's going Steve Raymond. Ethan Hunt, I got as the Saints quarterback. I honestly, I am being transparent. I am not lying. I have not made up my mind. I will do that after Press Pass Live. I've gone back and forth because I do think that Ethan Hunt is the best quarterback, hands down, in this draft. He is a lefty. I went back and forth all night talking myself in and out of a lefty and like, yes, you can do it. You can figure it out. Do it. I will be very clear about why I let my quarterback walk. Yes, I played terrible. Yes, he was a lefty that drove me insane. He was a $300 million quarterback, and I was not paying that because when I go to the Saints next cycle, they will have no quarterback. They will have a terrible cap situation. I could not bring over a $300 million quarterback into a bad cap situation. So even if he played lights out, he probably was not going to stay because I just could not afford to invest into him and not have him be able to come with me into Madden 25. So I have not made my decision. Plus, I really just wanted to mess with people's heads that they created their own board. John Green, Packers, I've got them going cornerback. I do believe he's right up there with the other cornerback, Steve Raymond. I think he's fast, and Priest cannot pass up super fast players, and he needs a cornerback. I got Mark Anthony going to the Rams. I do think he's going quarterback. I, again, did not go look at his free agency, but there's just no way he's going to roll into the season with what he's got. I do believe that he's going to draft a quarterback. I got the Broncos taking Melvin Reddick. I think he likes speed. He likes his playmakers. He needs to surround that young quarterback. I got Damian Bright, a little bit of a different pick going to the Bucs because I thought the same thing Maniac thought. He's got everything. Guy literally has everything at every position. Why not put somebody right there at defensive tackle? He's going to need some youth. He's getting older on that defensive line. I think he could take the number 1 defensive tackle that's rated in the top 10. Tyler Kobler going to the Commanders. I think he loves defense. He loves speed and athleticism. That guy has it all. Titans looking to rebuild that roster. Why not take one of these super fast, athletic cornerbacks that you can build around? I got him taking Cody Raines. Ben Wright going to the Texans. Roger knows how to draft, and that kid right there, if he falls that far, is going to put pressure on the quarterback. He's going to put him with the Georgia guy that he got in the real life NFL. I think he's just looking to add to that defensive line. He likes to play defensive end. That would not surprise me at all if Ben White falls that far. He's going to get snatched up by the Texans. And then my last one, the Bills, Stoogie Sparks, just because he has the greatest name. But seriously, he's super fast and athletic. And I much like the Bucks, I think the Bills are just a couple of small pieces away. And I don't think he'll invest in a halfback. I think he could use a halfback. Again, I don't have his team memorized. I didn't go look and see what he did in free agency. I just don't see halfbacks in the OMFL usually going this high. It's usually a little bit lower in the first round, second round, third round. Those are when you start to see halfbacks come off the table. And I think you can get a really good halfback in the second, third, fourth rounds even, and be able to have an impact player. So that's how I see that one breaking out and coming together. And it's just going to be fun. And all the fun's going to start here like really, really soon. So we're going to know before we know. And for some reason, the OMFL selected a live draft on Wednesday. So we have like 48 hours of a pause draft. I have no clue why. Y'all are like, I want a 2-day off season. Let's go. And freaking stressing me out. And then for whatever reason, by like 4 or 5 votes, everybody voted for a Wednesday draft. So that's when we're having a Wednesday draft.
I voted for all days, man.
Yeah, I think a lot of people did, but more people picked just Wednesday, or at least picked Wednesday as their main option. It was like 18-14. So I was like, I wanted to go Tuesday just because I'm ready to go. Like, let's get this thing going. But I was like, more people selected Wednesday. We got to go Wednesday. All right. Let me cover a little FPR. So we didn't have that many suggestions. I thought we were going to have way more suggestions, but we absolutely did not. So a couple of them that did get passed. Want to make sure that I announce these correctly. Yes, it's just these ones here at the bottom. So number 1, Maniac. Oh, this one's going to make me all kinds of friends. And I'm not even going to say how I voted because I don't want to put my other board members on any type of blast. But for some reason, I know this one's going to come at me. You can't play defensive tackle anymore. And I did even put the vote on that one 4-2. So I wanted everybody to know it was like, okay, it wasn't like a landslide here. But you cannot play the defensive tackle. It's something they implemented in the Deuce. It seems to be working well. I'm sure it will come right back up at the end of this offseason. But right now, you cannot play the defensive tackle. Right now, here it is. Quarterback sneak is banned. That was missing from the rules. Not missing. It just was left out because it was trying to eliminate a lot of the rules. Maniac felt like it was still a give me, got voted on, got passed pretty quickly, and so you cannot use quarterback sneak any longer. I feel like I was missing one. Denbru's suggestion is up and did get passed, and I think that was the only other one that got passed. So we only have 3 new rules: no defensive tackle, no quarterback sneak, and you may use the coach suggestion play calling. You just cannot call all game like that. So you can use it as like a tool, sort of like you do like play type or player type when you go to those. You can use it from time to time in scenarios, but we don't want to see guys calling all game. I'm pretty nervous about that rule. I was pretty against it, but we will see how it plays out. It did pass pretty unanimously outside of me, so we'll see exactly how it goes. And I think, and Maniac can correct me if I'm wrong, but looking through this, I think that is it. I think that was the only other ones that got passed. We will wait and look. So we took a wait and look approach about zone adjustments. So that may become a rule. It was right there. I think it was almost tied 50-50. One more board member voted for us to take a wait and see approach. And there was a wait and see approach about someone else's suggestion, and I'm drawing a blank right now. I'm trying to look through these really fast. Oh, man, why am I drawing a total blank on this?
I'm not helping you out. I know what you. I know there's something else too, but. Mm,
I think that was it. I thought there was one more. I could have swore there was one more, y'all, but I cannot find it at all.
I know we got to see it in the elbow, but we turned on the illegal contact.
We did. Yep, that got turned on about 3/4 of the season. It was an option that was turned off because of the slider set that we're using, and his video evidence was with it off, CPU interactions between DBs and receivers were better. But I understand why people wanted it back on, and so we put it back on. I could have swore there was one other one that we were going to take a wait and see approach. I'm drawing a total blank on what they were right now. But turn it over to you guys. What do you think about some new rules? I'm a little nervous about the suggested play one. We'll see exactly how it goes. The counter argument, and it's a fair one, is that with our limits on play calling, it will give you more plays to choose from. The reason that went away is because it called the same 3 plays all game, and you would play somebody that played the same 3 plays all game because they were lazy and they didn't want to go learn their playbook, and they didn't want to learn how to be a coach and learn situational football, and they took the lazy approach and just had the AI call it for them. So anyway, I'm pretty nervous about that one. We'll see how it goes down.
I'm thankful I got my stable internet connection, because I've been using the defensive tackle the entire time that I was not wired, and now that's gone. So I'm glad I can get back to being a linebacker.
Yeah, I think the rules are. I mean, I like the system that we have. It's not just like somebody suggests something and it falls in line with how you feel, about the way things. You go through the process. You have the guys from the board vote on it. It's a very democratic, I guess that would be the correct term or whatever. But anyway, I've always liked that, the transparency of the league and stuff. So, the rule that the defensive tackle stuff again felt like it was just way too easy. Now we're switching to all pro. For some guys, it may have gotten in easier. I don't know, and it may not. I feel like we've got a really good slider set for the league with the all pro switch. But we want the core beliefs in the leagues is fair play, and you want it to be as fair across the board as possible, for everybody, and and that's represented with the who was in the board, and they have those beliefs as well and stuff. So I think the QB sneak, that was just something, and I think I do remember, we were talking about at the first of this Madden, it felt like that the defensive tackles would keep from that happening. I also think that it was still just way too easy. So I was glad to see that one got voted back in. The one that we're taking the wait and see approach, the zones. I really appreciate that also as well. See how things are going to be affected, because it could make a lot of difference. And so, sometimes even in the best interest, we can make knee-jerk decisions or maybe suggestions or whatever. So, but anyway,
I think that's the mad scientist in you. You're just digging and finding things and like, oh, we got to look at this. So I'm like, all right, mad scientist, take a chill, go to bed. You need a nap. That's the thing.
So, sometimes that's good, sometimes it's bad. So, but in the long run, it kind of evens itself out. So, but again, like I said, just to take the around the block trip to say, I really appreciate the process that goes through making these decisions for the league.
Well, Buds, this will be a short show because there's no mailbag. So let's turn it over to you. One final thought. The pause draft, I suppose, will start in the next 25 minutes. What did I say? I said 5:30. Did I say 5:30? I guess I didn't say, did I? I thought I did.
You told us that
I need a nap. I feel like I keep I'm forgetting literally everything today for some reason. I could have swore I said 5:30, but we might as well start it at 5. So we'll probably start at 5. I will still probably need time to figure out what the hell I'm doing. Boy, when you get up there, you get excited, and then it comes to the pick, and you're like, oh, I don't know what to do. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know. This is a scary position to be. Mackie says he has a question, but he didn't post the question. He just said, I do have a question. So give us one final thought, Trey, and then we'll see if Mackie has posted. He says, who is Pat Allen?
He's talking about my mock draft. I got him taking Pat Allen, the wide receiver.
I need to go look at. That sounds like an offensive lineman's name.
That's a great name. I thought there was going to be some kind of penis joke or something in there. I was just like, I feel like I'm getting set up here. Is Pat Allen a real player though? Like you're not just making these names up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He's the number 2 wide receiver on the draft.
Well, there you go, Nips. He's the number 2 wide receiver. Duh.
He said he sucked, so I don't know, but from my scouting, he looks like he could be similar to what Trey has with his.
No, you don't compare 6'2" to 6'6".
I know, but he's kind of got the similar play style. So.
Freaking animal.
Now, Mr. Nipples did threaten me with a good time to join us for the bowl game. He did not show up. He's threatening me again to show up for the draft show. We'll see if that actually becomes a reality, though. So maybe the draft show will become even more entertaining. We'll see how it goes. All right, Trey, one final thought, and we're going to close this baby out.
Well, it's time to get locked back in. A lot of guys had the off-season or the playoff runs off. Some guys had the toilet bowl run. Congratulations, Nipples, on that one. And then the guys that were in the playoffs. Then time to check in and get back ready for season 109.
He demolished me in the toilet bowl. I was so aggravated in that game. Like he got Derek Carr throwing it all over the field. I was like, what is going on? And so I think he's going to be ready to rock and roll. In your homework, Maniac, of Mr. Pat Allen, Broncos man wants to know, does he enjoy sex cruises? If so, he's going to be a great fit in Baltimore.
Well, he's a little short compared to Trey's wide receiver, so he might. I'm
glad you finished that statement. I was like, I don't know. Nipples is never mind. I'm not. Let's not do that. All right, one final thought here, Maniac.
Man, this is Christmas, man, for the OMFL. I mean, it's time to, again, like I've said before, plug back in. It's things. Everybody's on a level field. Across the board. You get to retool your team. You've already either been successful in free agency, or you just got unlucky and didn't get nobody that you really wanted. They just didn't sign with you, or whatever the heck that Madden does with the free agency thing now. But the draft is the part where you kind of have the total control, like of when this guy falls to you, or you've got to make the decision because the guy got picked right before you. You got to have a plan. So it's really fun, and the guys here make it fun as well. And so looking forward to draft night, and this is the first really lengthy pause draft we've had, so maybe that'll give us opportunity to do some other things with it as well. So, but
I just had a headache thinking about it. Though it's like I can see it now. Beal is going to be relentless through this entire thing. It's just going to be absolutely relentless. How many people get frustrated that we had to wait 6 hours because someone's at work, or wait 10 hours because someone went to sleep because it's 1 o'clock in the morning. Like, it's going to be relentless. And there's also a piece of me that hopes that the Mounties and the Saints screw up everyone's draft board, but it's only going to screw up the first 2 picks for everybody, so I guess it wouldn't matter. But there's part of me that hopes that everyone is completely wrong on these draft boards. It'll be funny.
That'll be interesting.
One final thought for me is I'm just ready to play again, just sort of like Trey. I'm ready to get to the draft. Draft night is always a ton of fun. It's one of my favorite things that we do here, so I'm just really excited to get there. For the first time, because this is going to be an even longer off season, we will pause after week 1. Not the first time, but first, like, standard. This is what we're doing now. So we are pausing in week 1. People can play their game. They can also get all their training camp done. And then after that, we will get to week 4, let everybody set their practice squads, get their team ready to go. So draft is Wednesday. Thursday will be 24 hours, set your free agency. Friday, we will start the season. Friday, Saturday, Sunday will be the first 3 days. Should be a ton of fun. I'm ready to get there. Also, you can see if you're watching the vertical stream. So there are going to be 2 streams from now on. I am multi-streaming, but to the same platform. We are multi-streaming normal, the way I always stream, and then the new vertical one over here. It's been set up. It came out really cool. I'm kind of excited about it. But whether you're watching any of my streams, you will have 2 options. I do not have a vertical chat set up, so if you're in the vertical chat, I won't see it. And I'm learning that the vertical has to go up first, and then the second one has to be the normal stream, so that the multi-chat takes over the normal stream, and I can start to see it a little bit better. But hope that you guys are liking that. I got to figure out a way to get both the chats up, but it just is spreading us to a brand new audience. The draft night will also be normal and vertical. And I don't know this for sure, but Big Hurt normally does a draft night on Twitch. And so we may have Twitch, YouTube, and YouTube vertical, but just another way to get you guys our content and spread us to a brand new audience. So, Trey, thanks for hanging us out. Ooh, don't do that. You know what I mean. It's Monday. I need a nap.
I didn't put you on the.
You hung us out to
I did not put you on the clothesline.
I'm pretty sure.
Put you on the clothesline.
I'm pretty sure
Calm
I'm having
down.
a stroke today. It's either a stroke or a heart. Something is wrong with me today. But thanks, guys, for hanging out with me tonight. I appreciate you, fellas. Thanks for hanging out with us. Off to the draft here in another 15 minutes or so. But Tim said he's ready, so maybe we get started a little bit earlier. So, Tim, get that first pick ready. Remember, we want to see your player snapshots, so make sure to post those. If you're not going to be at the draft, there's a chat to let us know that you will not be there. I will tag everybody. And then if you are at the draft, when you decide I don't want to draft anymore, tag us, let us know so that we can skip you. If you're trying to get your photos of the year in, make sure that you tag me on those, especially now that we got player photos. I like that I said, please tag me. And then Roger, Lost, and Trey said, nah, I'm good. I'm not going to tag you. I'm just going to post photos. So post your photo of the year. Oh, we got a new subscription. So thanks for hanging out with us today. Make sure you post your photo of the year in the next 24 hours. We're going to get that vote going. And then as you make your draft picks, give us those dirty cell phone pictures. Actually, don't. Stop doing that. PlayStation has a button. You press this little button right here, snaps your screen. It's beautiful. It's in 4K. You can share it to a chat, download it with your phone. You can share it to Twitter and download it. Make good photos and let us know. All right, fellas, I'm out of here.
Nick.
Guys, I love you. We'll see you later.
Nick, I got one question.
Oh, yeah. What?
Who's the Super Bowl MVP? Stop being asked about it.
Oh, we announced it. It was the middle linebacker, whose name is slipping my head right now.
Ross?
Ross, yeah.
Ross.
Yeah, I mean, how could it not be? The guy had a pick 6 and 2 interceptions. He turned the whole entire game around. Of course, Ross is the MVP. Lost has got me all of the award winners. I have to do incentives and stuff. Probably will mess with that tonight. So all of that will be announced in the next 72 hours or so. About to press this button. Pressing the button.
Deuces!
Button's pressed. Bye. Yeah.
Smash that like and subscribe.